Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover. You can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on the show, where Tennessee goes from here, if it is more of the same from this Atlanta Falcons team, and what these results mean for two playoff contender teams. But first, I want to hit and talk about this, and that's the Tennessee-NC State game. And wow, all I have to say is wow. Very unexpected from me, that final score and the result. I didn't think it would be that much of a beatdown. I didn't. And it was from the jump. Tennessee took control, took charge, and never really let go. And you could tell it started in that first quarter too. NC State, first drive, UT was able to stop them on a 3-and-out to get off the field as a result of a third and long, 3rd and 17 to be exact. And that's always to me, that was always a good start, a good jumping point of, okay, cool. This defense was supposed to be better. And we saw it against UTC, but once again, it was UTC. Okay, right? So when they came out there, they did that. They established themselves. Oh, all right. This could look good, right? Offensive side of the ball. Tennessee didn't score and had to punt. But Nico was looking to pass from the pocket, not just take off and run. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to pass in the pocket. And that's what he did really the entire game. So after the 3-and-out and then the Tennessee punt, UT's first touchdown, there's only 3 runs the entire drive. The ball started on the 45-yard line as well, which to me, I like that. And here's why I like that. They are able to move the ball with Dylan Sampson, but they trust Nico to throw the ball around and not play for the field goal. You know what? We're going to play for the field goal, get up early, be up 3-0. No, we want 6. And that's what I liked about Tennessee and Nico and their offense and what they did. They trust him to move down the field, make smart plays. And I know, it's early in the first quarter, but you always love to get that first lead, right? And just kind of see how the other team, the opponent, reacts. Nope. They reacted by getting a touchdown. That's what Tennessee did. And then, watching that game as well, dominant defensive line play by Tennessee. The whole first quarter, the offense, NC State offense was uncomfortable, couldn't move much, didn't do a ton. Okay, cool, you're fresh. Let's see what happens if you're able to carry that defense on out throughout the game. So second quarter, NC State's 3rd and long again. Tennessee's gets off the field, defense gets them off the field, able to put the ball back in the offensive side of the ball. Cool. All right. Let's see what happens now. Offense continued to play great. Nico continued to play great. Nico, that entire game had all day long to throw. First quarter and in the second quarter, looking left, looking right, making his throws, making his progressions, dumping off when he had to. You like that. Especially a young quarterback, an experienced offensive line protecting your young quarterback. Yes, he's a 5-star guy, all this hype, but he's still a young quarterback, hasn't played a lot of football. You like that. Defense has also continued to play strong, holding NC State to a field goal even after Nico threw his first pick. And on that throw, was there a miscommunication there with Brew McCoy? Because it looked like he wanted Brew to keep going to catch that because he threw it to a space and the safety came up and picked that ball. I don't know if there was a miscommunication on the play or it was Bruce's fault or it was Nico. I don't know the miscommunication there. So that was his first errant throw. And of course, that's going to happen. But then to me, his second missed throw was 6:30 left before the half, where he overshot the end zone, or the receiver going into the end zone there. And you're like, it's okay, that's all right. So 2 missed throws in that second quarter. Brings us to halftime. Tennessee's up 20-3, and they're driving. And they couldn't get that touchdown, so they had to settle for that field goal. So to me, it's like, okay, NC State's still in this ball game, but Tennessee got the ball back to start the third quarter. So that they deferred, so they start the ball back in the third quarter. You're like, all right, here we go. And then overall, I mean, I thought Nico played well in the first half. Outside the pick, obviously, but he had plenty of time to throw, which, that's a credit to the offensive line and him getting the ball out. So we move to the third quarter now. Opening drive. The way they played, you love it. Getting after it. Opening drive, Tennessee scored a touchdown. The defense continues to get after the quarterback. Now they're able just to put their hands up and go, as it's 27-3 at this point into the third quarter. Then you're like, this game's over, right? Pretty much. They get this strip sack fumble with 8:12 left in the third quarter, and it's a wrap. There's no notes in that fourth quarter for me watching this game, observing outside of Tennessee's pouring it on. This game's locked up before you get into the fourth quarter. What you like? It's a relief to be able to put away a solid football team. And also, too, what I did like about that fourth quarter, once again, I'm saying the defensive side of the ball. You get second and third teamers flying around in that fourth quarter, making plays, being active, which is important. They get to play in the fourth quarter against a solid, talented team, not a UTC team. We're talking about NC State. Solid recruits, solid kids. Better talented team than a UTC. You're getting your second and third teamers out there. Continue to make them better. Build your depth and just continue to just replace, like you've seen Georgia the last 5-6 years. Just the next unit, the next guy steps up. The next one, the next DB, the next linebacker, the next defensive end. Continue to build that depth on down the line. As overall in this game, NC State was just 3 of 12 from third down. Would you love to see that? That means your defense is getting them off the field. Tennessee, on the other hand, from an offensive standpoint, was 17 of 14 from third down, so 50%. And they're able to run the ball, which is what their offense does. They like to stretch the field, but run the ball with there's a lot of gaping holes for Dylan Sampson. I think another takeaway from this too, and can make the Tennessee offense scarier. The tight ends. Yeah, Tennessee's had some dynamic tight ends, or a good tight end under Heupel and Princeton Font. But it's different than that compared to this. Font kind of moved all around, played some fullback, played some tight end, was even out running back a little bit. So he bounced around, was a nice little I won't say a gadget, but like a utility guy for Tennessee that made an impact at tight end. blocking, run the ball as a running back, run the ball as a fullback, catch some balls out of the backfield, catch some balls out tight end. Versatile player, but it was just him. It was him by himself. Well, now all three of Tennessee's tight ends got involved as the tight end group had 5 catches and everyone had at least 1 catch. You like to see that. It's another wrinkle for Tennessee and what that offense can do. Puts that on film, and it only opens up their offense more with the receivers, who I think I like them. What they've done, Heupel's continued to harp on them being the deepest they've ever been. And now you got some tight ends that can catch the ball as well. It's deadly. Back on the defensive end too, for Tennessee, they only had 3 sacks. They were after the quarterback all night long. But they did have 13 tackles for loss. So first big test for me is over for Nico and Tennessee, getting over, taking care of NC State and killing them. Then you've got Kent State coming up. Don't overlook them. I know I got it. Take care of business. But then you got Oklahoma. And this is one of those games for Tennessee that could dictate and determine their overall season. I mean, they're big games. Obviously, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma. You go 1-3 in those games, I like your chances of getting into the playoffs. 1-3. You just have to win 1. That means you're sitting at 2 losses, saying you take care of business everywhere else. Whether that's an Oklahoma win, losing to Alabama and Georgia, whether it's losing to Oklahoma, beating Alabama, losing to Georgia, however you want to slice it, But it gets real when you go to Oklahoma. You get conference play. That's their first game, and that's really where they're going to dictate kind of who you can be, where you're at, looking forward into conference, and ultimately getting into that playoff. Because I don't think Tennessee's a real contender right now for a national championship. But getting into the playoffs would be a nice step, saying you're sitting at 10-2. Pretty good spot there. Someone else is a pretty good spot, and wow, oh wow, was the other UT. Man, they took care of Michigan, and I watched. I wouldn't say I watched all. I didn't watch all that game because I didn't have to. I did not expect Texas to absolutely blow out Michigan. No messing around, and there wasn't a whole lot of notes. I had some from the first I wrote down, and then I was like, oh, well, I don't even have to mention them because they did whatever they wanted against Michigan. And to me, this solidifies and confirms they are this top 10 team, top 5 team that people thought they were coming into the season, and in a position for a SEC title and a national title. It's like the joke continues to be around, go around. We're back. You see the memes, you see the sayings. They finally might be back, and a serious run at Georgia for the SEC title and a natty as well. Because they're a threat and everything was clicking. So, I mean, what does this mean for Michigan? They get killed. Absolutely crushed. But you know what? They're not out of this. Why? Once again, the 12-team playoff. But yeah, they've still got tough schedule coming up as they still got Southern Cal, Washington, Oregon, and of course, Ohio State. They beat the three of them and lose to Ohio State. I think Michigan gets in once again. Whatever. So what? 12-team playoff, 2-loss Michigan team. Yeah, you're big brand. You're Michigan. You won the national championship last year. Yeah, you're one of the at-large spots. Come on in. All are welcome in the 12-team playoff. All are welcome, But they got 4 games, tough games, and that's not counting if they have a slip up somewhere. So that's a that's a battle for them. We're going to see where it leads and what happens, but something else they did not look good at all. Someone else did not look good was the Tigers. Auburn Tigers and Cal. Horrifically bad offense. Like, bad doesn't even begin to describe how horrendous they still are, even after last year's struggles with the quarterback position. That's exactly where it was again in the game against Cal. I mean, they only had 5 interceptions, only 5, and still lost by 7, and only lost by 7. I mean, that tells you 2 things, right? 2 teams that aren't very good. You were almost able to overcome 5 interceptions, yet you had 5 interceptions. Once again, it's quarterback problems. They've mentioned there's not going to be a change yet, but we'll wait and see. They couldn't move the ball against Cal. It could be another long, tough year for Auburn, the battling to get to 6-6. And Cal going to the Plains to beat an SEC school in Auburn, that's a big win for them. I mean, I think it gives them some promise, excitement with this ACC schedule and this ACC slate. Yeah, you still got Clemson, of course, to take care of as to watch as still the leader in the clubhouse, obviously. But, I feel like it gives you some promise of, what? Maybe we can take care of Auburn. I mean, of Clemson and just see what happens. Talking about seeing what happens, I cannot not mention the Notre Dame Northern Illinois game. And flipping back and forth, some bouncing around with them on, and I think I watched them and Auburn and then some of the Texas-Michigan game. And I said last week, after beating Texas A&M week 1, prime position to take care of business the rest of the schedule and be that number 5 seed in the playoff. Well. You lose to Northern Illinois. They can still get in the playoffs, sadly, because it's Notre Dame. And if they run the table, we just had a bad loss against Northern Illinois, we're actually still a good football team, yada, yada. Now, if they lose another game with their schedule, I don't see them getting an automatic bid because one of their losses was against Northern Illinois. No offense, Northern Illinois, but Notre Dame, they're Northern Illinois, and you're looking at the committee, what the committee has to look at. I don't think so. Once again, just the tops in terms of every week, something can change, something's different. And while college football every week can be different, some things are not different. As the Falcons, no different from last year. You lost to the kicker. The kicker. You out touchdown them, but still lost. If that's not frustrating, I don't know what is. And in that first quarter, Tennessee, Atlanta drive ends in the field goal. Okay, that's fine. First drive, kick a field goal. All right, points on the board. Here we go. Then the Steelers offense got on the field, and you couldn't stop them on third down. Third down magic. So the Steelers converted 4 out of their 5 third down opportunities in the first quarter. Yeah, a lot of them were short, but you got to make a conversion. You can't let them go 4 or 5. You have to get them off the field. They couldn't do that. Move to the second quarter. Another field goal by the Falcons, and it's a big defensive hold after the short field from the turnover, from the interception from Kirk Cousins. Okay, big win, short field, hold him to a field goal. Cool, awesome. But once again, that Falcons offense, I wrote it down then, and it's looking like in the second quarter, it looked like it played that out this entire game. So he's been playing the pistol all game, and I go, maybe it's protecting his Achilles, maybe it's a little tight, tender, kind of avoid him potentially getting hit more, getting sacked. I don't know. Then later on the broadcast, interesting enough, they said Kirk Cousins played the most under center than any other quarterback in the league. He didn't take a single snap under center on Sunday. And if you're a good offensive coordinator, aren't you supposed to design your offense around what your quarterback's good at, what he does, what he excels at? Team said he's fine and healthy, but it makes me wonder. It does. For him to be playing the pistol the entire game, and for the Falcons, I think it really limits, any offense, what you can do being in the pistol the entire game. No play action, no bootlegs. Your statue back there trying to throw. Okay, but it limits what I think you can do offensively, and it showed. There's one bright spot. Well, I would say one bright spot offensively and one from an individual player. Bright spot, 2-minute drive before they have to get the touchdown. Look good there. You're like, okay, I like it. Yeah. And the other thing I did like was them feeding Biaggi Robinson. He had 15 touches before halftime. I don't have a problem with that. You feed your best player. Get him the ball. Make him make a play. Give him an opportunity to make a play. No issues at all. Then also, once again, as well, this Falcons defense in the second quarter, couldn't get Pittsburgh off the field. And it was big, too. It was a 3rd and long. Pittsburgh had no business converting on it. They did. They gave up a 3 the Falcons shouldn't have. So Falcons lead 10-9 going into half, but should have been 10-6. Falcons gave up 123 total yards in the first half. I thought Cousins looked okay-ish. Not great, but okay. And then the third and fourth quarters came, and it was, well, we've seen this Falcons movie before. And that's exactly what it was. You thought after that touchdown by the Falcons and Cousins, okay, Falcons are going to get in sync, get going a little bit. And that was not the case. As not in sync, did not look good and all. It's interesting. I'm watching that game, and I'm like, man, know what I wish? I wish they didn't have to play real games immediately. Like, I wish there was some sort of preseason games or opportunities they had to play. And I wish there's preseason games, opportunities for the offense to get in sync, play some snaps together, learn the offense a little bit more, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. I wish there were games like that allowed them to do that, Oh, wait. And then, like I said, defensively, once again, their one offensive weapon, receiving weapon, George Pickens, made plays downfield. You like the defense playing the bend and don't break, where Pitt hit their 5th field goal in the 3rd. And it was field goals and defense for the Steelers. Also, like I mentioned earlier, with Cousins always in the gun, it was the TJ Watt show. Couldn't block him at all. At all. So the Falcons showed in this game into the 4th quarter. They make this good stop on 4th down and 7. They're on 7 minutes left. This would have been chip shot field goal. So, give Falcons a chance to do something with it. Once again, it was the Falcons offense not look good, not in sync. Couldn't happen. Later in this game, the Falcons defense continues to save the Falcons and gives them a chance on offense. As they stop Pitt with around 4 minutes left to go, Falcons still have this chance to go ahead and score. That's all you got to do and win this football game. Once again, offense doesn't look promising. With 3:20 left, still plenty of time. They give all your timeouts. All your timeouts, 3:20. Just drive down the field, make a couple plays, you win this football game. What does Kirk Cousins proceed to do? Interception. Double coverage. That's a wrap. That's your ball game. And they did not look good. I don't like their chances against Philly on Monday night. Not promising. And it's frustrating, especially as a Falcons fan, seeing them, how they played last year and how they played today. It's like, oh my goodness gracious. Same team, different players, same uniforms, same bad crap is going to happen. It's frustrating. Hopefully they can get together and take care of Philly to go 1-1 to start this out week 2. Oh, it's so frustrating, these Falcons. Coming up next week, I've already got some ideas. Obviously, we're going to recap what happened in college football. Something Chipper Jones said. And are we getting a new Pac-12? I'm going to talk to you next week about that. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at LockItUpMedia. It's LockItUpMedia on Twitter. You've been listening to Lock It Down Sports. I'm Locke Hoover. Have a good day, everybody.